Welcome to yet another edition of the Stats and Stacks podcast. For today, we're going over UFC Vegas 50. But first thing is first, we went 5 of 6 on picks 2 weeks ago. We went 6 of 6 this week. I don't know how you top it. Fuck it. I might go put 7 out there. I don't know, but something is in the water right now. We are on a heater. We are on a roll, and we want to continue the action. Again, we wait until after the weigh-ins to put the official picks generally. Sometimes we do it a day or two before, but we will make adjustments if needed. So make sure you give this video a like. Make sure you're following over on Instagram, over on Twitter, over on TikTok, making sure we build the fan base and make sure that we get the correct picks. But again, you're not here to hear me ramble about what we've done in the past. You want to hear what we're about to do in the future, which is hopefully a little bit of the same. So let's not waste any of your time and go straight into this fight card, man. It is a big one. All 14 fights still listed on here. So yeah, we just got to dive right into it. So let's go ahead and start with the very first fight of the night. We have Tafon Njoku at plus 145 going up against Asmat Mirakanov at minus 165. Over under set at 1.5 for this. Over 1.5 is minus 188. Under 1.5 at plus 137 are the odds I found online. Let's go ahead and just start with Asmat. He is a favorite here. He has pretty good striking. He's a little older to be making his UFC debut, coming off the Dana White Contender Series here. A lot of his wins are early finishes, so that is a concern. His cardio does concern me a little bit, especially with him being 35 years old. Some sites list him as 32, some list him as 35. I believe he's 35 years old if you look at the man. Just your standard Sambo Russian, and he's really good on the feet, really good striking, defensively sound with jiu-jitsu. Like, he's just an overall good fighter, in all honesty. You'll see him fight all over the place. He tried to fight Jared Vanderaa at heavyweight. He had fights lined up at middleweight, fights lined up at light heavyweight. He is truly middleweight. So this fight being at light heavyweight, it would concern me generally, but the man he's fighting has also fought at middleweight, so these are two smaller light heavyweights going at it. Otherwise, I have nothing bad to say about him outside of it's his UFC debut, and I'm not sure about the cardio, because when you look first round finish. He does have a decision here, but that was a 2-round fight when I watched it. So that was one I really wanted to watch to see how he looked. He did look like he was slowing down a little, but it was only a 2-round fight. So he has 10 minutes in him. And he just busted out some wrestling in that one. So I was able to see that at least. And it is there. He's Russian. He can wrestle. So all in all, I like the guy a lot. I just don't like that he's 35 years old, even though it says 32 here, he's 35. And I also don't like that all of his fights are pretty early in a debut. Tafon Njoku, he's all right. He's not the greatest. He's not the worst. He's someone else that came off of Contender Series. He has pretty good striking, a lot higher volume than I thought. He's going to have a 6-inch reach advantage here. He has a ton of power. He packs power just like Asmat does. His wrestling is a little questionable. He got taken down in his only career loss against Jung Young Park quite a bit there, and Jung Young Park's not exactly the greatest wrestler in the world. He's okay, so that does concern me. All in all, this is one I don't really want to spend a ton of time on because I don't know which way to go here. What we always do is fade the Contender Series fighters on their debuts when they're favorites, but I don't know if I want to do that right now. The pick is going to be Asmat for sure. The bet, both these guys pack a punch, man. I might just take the under here at plus 137. If you have plus money at the under, I'll probably just end up betting that, but this might be one to just enjoy. The next fight is going to be one that you're going to have trouble enjoying. Guido Connetti at plus 125 going up against Chris Montino at minus 145. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 at minus 135. Under 2.5 at plus 105. Let's start with Guido here. He's not good. He's 42 years old. He has zero cardio. He has a pretty decent check left hook. Like, he has a little bit of power in his left hook, but he's 8-6, man. He lost 3 years of his career because of a false negative when it came to steroids, and I think that's the only reason the UFC is allowing him to continue to fight. I think they kind of feel bad about the false negative of him missing 3 years of his career because, I mean, if you look at him, He's lost 3 in a row and he's getting a 4th opportunity. So they gave him Mana Martinez. That's the only thing, though. They're giving him fights continually, but they're giving him young guys so that they can build off of it. Marlon Vera, a young up-and-comer. They wanted to build Marlon. Dana Bacterel, they always love pushing Oriental fighters. So obviously they wanted to give him a win, and they did. Mana Martinez comes in with all of his knockouts. They wanted to give him a highlight reel. That's all they're trying to do with Guido. But at least he's still getting fights, I suppose. Overall generalist, not the worst on the ground, not the worst wrestler, not the worst on the feet, but he's 42 and fading. He's really not that good. Good news for him is they're giving him a winnable fight against Chris Montino. It feels as if the UFC owes Guido, but they also feel like they owe Chris Montino, considering he came in and allowed Sean O'Malley to stay on the card. His UFC debut was very, very last minute, late replacement coming in. You'll recognize him as the guy that got absolutely shit on by Sugar Sean. He's really right now carries like a pretty durable moniker, but he's not durable. If you really dig down and watch the tape and look at the stats, yeah, he absorbed a crap ton against Sean O'Malley and it was stopped super early. But I mean, Johnny Campbell knocked him out. Tony Gravely knocked him out. David Garcia choked him out. Brandon Sire choked him out. Every single one of his losses, even his amateur scene against Manny Bermudez, choked out. He's been finished in every fight. He's not durable by any means. He just was durable for one night. That's it. Otherwise, you can finish this guy, but he is going to have a 2-inch reach advantage here. His cardio does check out. Jiu-jitsu, again, he's getting choked out quite a bit, little shaky. His striking, he uses his face as a punching bag, a little shaky. His wrestling, he gets taken down and tapped out. It's a little shaky. He's an overall generalist too. So both of these guys suck. The UFC should cut both of these guys, but they feel like they're indebted to both of these guys. So they're having them fight each other. So all in all, I will have to take the youth. I wanted to take a shot on Guido Connetti and get good plus money, but plus 125 is not enough for a 42-year-old bantamweight. So the pick is going to be Chris. Unfortunately, the bet would be Chris, but do not parlay him because that is not a lock by any means. He is not UFC caliber. Speaking of people that may or may not be UFC caliber, we have Dolce Lamgambula at minus 120 going up against Cody Brundage at even money. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 is minus 115. Under 2.5 minus 115. Straight pick them. We'll go ahead and we'll start with Dolce here. He's not good at all. He is not good. He's predominantly a striker. But he has very, very low volume. He also is quite hittable. He gets hit with more significant strikes than he dishes out. He does have 75% takedown defense, which will be very necessary in the fight against Cody Brundage. But he slows down, man. I love that he has a 4-inch reach advantage in this fight if I were to bet him, but I don't know if I can. He's 34, dropped down to 185 for the first time in his last fight. His cardio, I mean, again, he doesn't gas, he slows down. So it's a little bit of a difference there. But all in all, he's a striker that gets hit a lot. I don't know how I feel about that. And he's very low volume. The good news is he will have a striking advantage going up against Cody Brundage. His striking is very pedestrian. It's not the greatest on earth. I know he has worked a lot with James Krause over with Glory MMA. You'll see him, and he's a guy that got knocked out by William Knight on the Contender Series, but he was killing William Knight in that fight. He just got hit with those Travis Brown, like not 12-6, we'll say, I don't know, 2-10 elbows. Oh, no, but a collegiate wrestler, so he does have that in his back pocket. His jiu-jitsu is good. I want to say he's a brown belt. He might be a little chinny. Again, William Knight knocked him out. His other loss was by knockout, or sorry, not by knockout. Is amateur scene. He did get knocked out previously. He got dropped by Nick Maximoff, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about his chin. Like, you can see him get dropped a ton, but like still stay in the fight. I don't like that he fought Eric Lonzo back to back. It's kind of sketchy. That's one way to pad your record, fight the same guy over and over again. But all in all, if you're taking someone that's a decent striker, going up against someone that is a high caliber wrestler, I'm going to take the wrestler all day. Again, he's doing a lot of work at Factory X Muay Thai right now over with Roy Val and Jonathan Martinez. And it's just a good camp to work on his striking since he's struggling. He's 27. He's only going to get better. So the pick is going to be Brundage. The bet, he's even money. So give me the dog and Brundage. It'll be one of our favorite dog plays of the night. Next, we have one that I'm really struggling with here. We have Sabina Mazzo at plus 250 going up against Miranda Maverick at minus 320. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 is minus 280. Under 2.5 at plus 210. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with Sabina Mazzo here. And sorry, my computer is just bugging out right now. Sabina Mazzo, you know what? Let's start with Sabina Mazzo. She sucks. She's not very good. She has okay striking, but there's not a lot of power behind it. She does have a decent amount of volume, which is nice, and she will have a 5-inch reach advantage in this fight, which is super nice. But she doesn't seem to have a ground game. If you take her down, you can hold her down there. Alexis Davis did it. Maria Agapova, we know she sucks, but she didn't hold her down on the ground. She clipped her and then choked her out. But all in all, Marina Moreau took her down, and we know she's a lot better than people give her credit for, but she took her down and controlled her. Her level of wins, Justine Kish is no longer with the promotion. JJ Aldridge, that's okay, I guess. She's not the greatest. She's okay. Shayna Dobson is God. She has like a negative record. She's somehow still in the promotion. She has not beaten anyone, in all honesty. It's just cupcake matchups. All in all, she's not good. She's not really UFC caliber. 65% takedown defense shows, but there is a little asterisk next to it. She's never been doubled. She's never been body locked. She gets her kicks caught. Every single takedown in the UFC was because her kick got caught. So I noticed in her last fight against Maria Agapova, she did throw less kicks. I think it's something that she's cognizant of. They tried to give her another win going up against Mandy Baum because they don't want to cut her yet. She's only 24 years old. But I think she is someone that could benefit from getting cut and coming back in 4 or 5 years, in all honesty. And it very well may happen because she's fighting Miranda Maverick, who I believe in a lot. Miranda has very good jiu-jitsu. Her wrestling is just okay. It's not that good, in all honesty. She's very, very physically imposing. She's very strong. But in all honesty, her striking is not that good either. She does give you a lot of forward pressure, which could kind of mess with Sabina, considering she's at the 5-inch reach advantage. She's going to stay at range. Miranda's not going to want to do that at all. She's going to be in her face. I think Miranda is the better fighter, 110%. But I am a little concerned, in all honesty, with Sabina's takedown defense. Again, if she does not throw kicks and Miranda catch them and take her down, Miranda just shooting a double. Her wrestling hasn't looked that great. She took Jillian Robertson down, which was nice. I do like seeing that. Erin Blanchfield, I think, is a future champion. She obviously just ate her breakfast, like she fucked her up. But all in all, even on the regional scene, her wrestling just didn't look that good to me. She doesn't really chain wrestle. She doesn't have like great timing. She just seems to wear on people and then able to get them down. Sabina's cardio isn't that bad. So like, if she's not able to get this fight to the ground, I think Miranda is head and shoulders a better fighter. But styles make fights. And in all honesty, if she can't take Sabina down, I think she's in trouble. Miranda's striking is getting better. She's only 24 too, but it's not that good yet. I think Sabina's the better striker. So the pick is going to be Miranda, but do not fall for the trap. I would not heavily parlay her whatsoever, because if she can't get this to the ground, Sabina is somehow one of the worst fighters in the division and a live dog. Again, someone I think is amazing. It doesn't make any sense on paper, but styles make fights. And I think this is going to be a lot greasier than people think it's going to be. So I don't want to be holding that minus 320 ticket if it's a very, very close fight. So the pick is going to be Miranda, because I think she's the better fighter. But I think it's a dog or pass or an over situation. You can eat the chalk at minus 280, or you can bet Sabina. I just don't trust Miranda to win out right here. Next fight of the night, we have Damon Jackson at plus 100 going up against Kamala Kirk at minus 120. Over under set at 2.5, over 2.5 minus 150, under 2.5 plus 120. I think these lines are flipping to where, well, not flipping, but I believe it's like a straight pick 'em now. So let's go ahead and start with Kamala Kirk. He made his UFC debut against Makwan Americani. I love Makwan, good old Mr. Finland, but Kamala, it was an interesting decision, but it should not have been that close, in all honesty. I thought McQuan won, but Kamwala came in on short notice and still made it a very, very competitive fight. So I didn't think it was an egregious decision by any means. I thought McQuan won. Outside of that, he's a loss to Bruno Silva. I don't think Bruno's that great, in all honesty. Or Bruno Souza, yeah. Who was also, I think he's supposed to fight on this card or is fighting on the card soon. He might be in the one in Columbus. Billy Q. I think Billy Q is very, very good, but you should not be getting knocked out by Billy Q. I understand he just kind of broke him, just physically, just way too much cardio. And I understand that Kirk was actually winning the fight, but Billy Q does not stop. He's a nonstop motor. And he did succumb to the pressure of Billy Q after a while. Kevin Kroom, that's a decent win here. Otherwise, his striking isn't terrible by any means, but he is a little hittable. His cardio's okay. It's not great. He does slow down a touch, but it's not, very, very prevalent. But he's young and improving. He's only like 27 years old, I believe. He's not that old. Yeah, he's 27. He's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, which is going to be important in this Damon Jackson fight. And he's going to have a 4-inch reach advantage. He's a little lower volume than I would like. But again, he is the superior striker here, even if it's low volume, because Damon Jackson cannot strike. He throws he's one of these guys that throw like crazy kicks and stuff. Just to get your attention so that he can go in and wrestle. He is very, very good on the ground. And that's why that Kirk black belt is going to be put to use. Damon Jackson is good on the ground. He's 33, so he's no spring chicken. He has great jiu-jitsu. That's about it. His wrestling is just okay. It's going to look good against someone like Charles Rosa, who can't stuff my takedown. But his striking's bad. He's hittable as well. He's also low volume. And all he does is pressure you so that he can get the takedown and get the fight to the ground. So honestly, I don't think he's going to be able to just take down Kirk at will. And even so, McQuan took him down 5 times. That means he got up 5 times. He just kept popping back up. And that's going to wear on Jackson. Jackson doesn't have the greatest gas tank. So all in all, I think they are very similar fighters, but Kirk is just a touch better everywhere. So the pick is going to be Kirk and the bet is going to be Kirk. It might end up turning into a lock of the night, in all honesty. Next fight of the night is Trevin Jones, plus 130 dog, going up against Javid Bercherat, minus 150, over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 is plus 110, under 2.5 minus 140. And we'll tell you why. It's because of Javid. He's 11-0. And he has 100% finish rate. He's never gone to a judge's scorecard. He's finished every single one of his fights, never lost. He is awesome. I love this kid. I watched him on the Contender Series. He was someone that everyone wanted to win, kind of like when Colby fought Usman. You have one guy that's kind of acting like a douche, talking about people's family, religion, and such, and they just want everyone else to win. That was his Contender Series fight. He fought an undefeated Oren Collin, who was like 16-0 at the time. It was such an inflated 16-0. It's not even funny. But yeah, a decent prospect in his own right. And he came in and he started making just racial and religion comments. And Javid said he was going to make him pay. And I think in one of the coolest things I've seen was he finished him, if you look at it here, with under a minute left. And he said that he could have finished the fight earlier, but he wanted to beat his ass while he could legally as much as he could before finishing him. And honestly, I believe him 110% because his striking is phenomenal. He looked very good on the feet. The other guy is a crazy black belt, and he was able to take him down and control him on the ground easily, and then wound up submitting him. And he said that was intentional too. His opponent was known for tapping everyone out, so he wanted to beat the shit out of him and then tap him out. And that's exactly what he did. And I put a little note next to this guy that whenever he gets that contract, and he got the contract, and I said whenever he goes to the UFC, auto bet. I don't care. He could be one of my favorite fighters coming up. Auto bet this man. So it all depends on who he's going to get here. And they gave him Trevin Jones. And honestly, Trevin Jones is someone that I've been trying to fade, in all honesty. Trevin Jones, his striking's okay, but it's a little overrated. He depends on his power, and he is not a power puncher. I understand that he has a few knockouts in the UFC, but that is an anomaly. When you look at his record here, most of his wins are by decision, and most are by decision and submission. Most of his knockout wins are in the UFC. He only has like 3 of his 17 wins are by knockout, and 2 of them are in the UFC. And let's not act like he's some potent power puncher who comes in and dominates on the feet. He was getting his ass whooped by Timur Valiev. Came in and then just caught him in the second round. He was getting his ass whooped by Mario Batista. Batista came in reckless and knocked him out in the second round. He was not winning these fights. He did not come in and dominate. He clipped someone twice in a row, and it gave a false narrative. His jiu-jitsu is better than people think. His wrestling, I thought, was until he fought Saeed Yakub. I like that kid a lot too, and he kind of reminds me of Javid. So he fought a similar type fighter, and he got guillotined. So I mean, all in all, he's low volume. He's hittable. He only has a 70% takedown defense. I think Javid's better on the feet. I think it could be a tie on the ground in all honesty, but I think Javid is the better wrestling. So the pick is going to be Javid. The bet is going to be Javid. I love that guy. So I'll go ahead and I'll back him for now until he proves me otherwise. Then next fight of the night, we have one that we can run through here. And JJ Aldridge at plus 105, Julian Robinson minus 130. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5, only minus 140 is interesting. Under 2.5 at plus 110. We can start with JJ Aldridge. She's kind of over, I don't know. I can't tell if she's overrated or underrated. She's a very peculiar person here. Her striking's okay. She will surprisingly have a 4-inch reach advantage here. But she's a little bit hittable. Her wrestling is okay. Her jiu-jitsu is okay. She's just an overall generalist here. She's only 29. She has good training partners, training with Rose. And I believe she's training with Miranda Maverick right now at Elevation. So she has good partners. Again, she's just an overall generalist. Her wins are okay. Her losses are okay. The Sabina Mazza one is not a good loss. Macy Barbara happens. Vanessa Demopoulos took the fight on short notice, and she just bullied her because Vanessa was not in the right weight class. Courtney Casey split. Okay, I see it. She's pretty durable here. She has a split with Courtney that she won, a split against Sabina that she lost. She does generally go to decision. So that makes that minus 140 pretty interesting. Mainly because Jillian is someone that does not generally go to decision. She is kind of kill or be killed, but in a grappling style. Her striking is not good. She's very hittable, very low volume. She basically has no striking whatsoever. She has okay wrestling. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just okay. She'll take down the lower level, and she'll struggle the higher she gets up. Her jiu-jitsu is on point. And you'll see here, she's in grappling competitions. She's choking out everyone that she's beating. Choked out Priscilla Ketchup-beating. She lost Miranda Maverick. She lost to Tyla Santos because they were able to control her. But she had Tyla in a pretty tight armbar. She almost caught her. She tapped out Courtney Casey. She got elbows and ground and pound in Sarah Froda. She rear naked choke. All of her wins are her taking them down and dominating. So Emily Whitmire, rear naked choke, Molly McCann. That's what she does. Everyone knows it's coming. They can't stop it. So it's a matter of how good JJ Aldridge's takedown defense is, and it's at 68%. So it's not the greatest. So it's a little concerning. The pick would be Robertson. The bet, I like that Aldridge is plus money, but not enough juice at plus 105. So I would actually end up just betting the over here. I think JJ has enough on the ground to not just get dominated by Jillian. So even if she loses, I don't think she gets finished. So the pick is going to be Jillian. The bet would be the over. All right, next fight of the night, we have Matt Sammelsberger at minus 240 going up against AJ Fletcher plus 195. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 at minus 150, under 1.5 plus 120. Let's go ahead and start with AJ Fletcher making his UFC debut. This kid's something, fighting out of Louisiana, training with the likes of Tim Crater is his coach. He was fighting with Dustin Poirier a little, and people down south there. He's interesting. I can't say he's a striker, can't say he's a wrestler, can't say he's a ground guy. He's a football player. He decided to turn to MMA in 2019. His wrestling is sneaky good for someone that just played football and didn't wrestle for his life. His striking is not the greatest, but he's very, very explosive. His striking looks like he played football. He's a muscle freak that comes in and hits like a truck. And it's just the only word I can think of is explosion. I mean, flying knee, wins by punches. He has a few submissions here. I don't know if he's ever gone the distance. He has not. Yeah, one time. He won one decision. So I don't really know how his cardio is, considering how explosive he is. You can back him up a little bit. But all in all, he's just very, very green. I like him. I think he has potential. It's not like he's super old. He's only 25 years old. So all in all, he's a good, decent fighter. I just think he's in the UFC a little too early. Good news for him is that he's fighting Matt Sammelsberger, who also played football. So basically, Matt just lost a ton of weight, became a fighter, and has been doing pretty well in all honesty. Also a Dana White Contender Series alum. His striking's pretty good. He looked pretty good against Chaos Williams, even in a loss. His cardio checked out in that fight too. Definitely has high volume, which I like a ton. He's almost hittable. He dishes out a lot, but he also gets hit a shit ton. But it shows 100% takedown defense. Now, I don't know if that's skewed contingent on who he's fought. I mean, he knocked out Martin Sano, who, God, no. I mean, literally it says say no in his name. So I don't know why anyone would ever bet that, man. That was a cakewalk. Chaos Williams lost, but there was no wrestling. Jason Witt is a wrestler, a big-time wrestler, but we didn't see the takedown defense because Jason Witt has no chin and he knocked him out in 16 seconds. Didn't get a chance. Carlton Minus doesn't wrestle. So he has fought 4 people. He's fought 4 times in the UFC. And literally no one's shot a takedown. So, yeah, you're going to have 100% takedown defense if no one shot. I don't know. I know he won't have much off of his back, but I don't know how easy it is to take him down. I know he'll have an 8-inch reach advantage, which is huge in this fight. But reach advantages don't mean shit if you're on the ground. So, we're really betting whether or not AJ Fletcher can get this to the ground. I don't know, but I do see a plus 200 here. And that being said, give me the guy that likes to wrestle a ton. So the pick is going to be Matt. I do think that he has the UFC experience, the better fighter, but I don't think he has anything off his back. And if AJ can get it down, and it may only take one, and he's a plus 200 favorite, or sorry, plus 200 dog, and he has that explosive power. If he's the better wrestler, he could win a decision that way or submit him. If they're on the feet, yeah, Matt has the advantage, but AJ is explosive. It only takes one in MMA. So I think AJ has more routes to win, and he's plus 200. So give me AJ all day. All right, and then that takes us to the main card. We have Bruno Silva at plus 150 going up against Alex Pereira minus 170. Over under 1.5 for this fight, of course. Over 1.5 is plus money at plus 135. Under 1.5 minus 165. Let's go ahead and start with Pereira, because all you're going to hear is the man that knocked out Israel Adesanya. And yeah, he did knock out Adesanya a while ago in kickboxing, but this is MMA, so it's a little bit different here. You already see people coming in trying to take him down. Andreas Nikolaitis in his UFC debut, that was a setup fight. They wanted him to win, so they gave him one of the easiest guys on the roster. And Andreas is not a wrestler by any means, but he was scared and he tried to wrestle. And he did get him to the ground. He just couldn't keep him there the whole time. And then the fight went to the second round. And as soon as it hit the second round, he threw that flying knee and knocked him out ASAP. This dude, you'll just hear them talk about this dude's power is different. It's going to be annoying to hear, but it is true. His power is different. When he knocks people out, they go stiff. He doesn't TKO people. He knocks them out cold. I mean, to the point where this guy was stretchered. He was out for 5 minutes. It was very concerning that they thought there was a death in the octagon, not in the UFC, but in a regional scene. But he is 3-1. He's 4-1. He does have a loss, and it's because someone got him to the ground and tapped him out. He lost via rear naked choke in his very, very first MMA fight. That was 2015. His takedown defense is getting better. He is training with Glover Teixeira, the champ right now. So all in all, I like him, but he's 34 years old here. So if they want to push him, they have to push him right away. I mean, he will have a 6-inch reach advantage here, which is pretty significant, solely on the fact that Bruno is a striker as well. He is someone that in the start of his career would get taken down and tapped out easily. Actually, he has 6 losses, and I think all 6 are by submission or something crazy like that. So, yeah, that is the route you could take to tap him out. But he noticed that was an issue in his game, and he's now a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He has done his due diligence, he's done his time, and he also has some scary power. He also has 22 wins, and like 19 of them are by knockout. The dude, when he hits you, you go out. So that's why this is lined at 1.5. My thing is, I don't trust non-wrestlers to win fights by wrestling. Bruno Silva is not going to fight Alex Pereira on the feet and win. Simply cannot. Alex Pereira is a world-class, possibly the best kickboxer on the planet. He is not going to kickbox him and win. He will have to wrestle and try to tap him out. He's not a wrestler. He might be good on the ground. He might be a black belt now. I don't think he can wrestle. Even if he can, is he going to be able to continually do it? I don't know. So even though Bruno has decent cardio, decent power, better probably overall, styles make fights. So the pick is going to be Alex. The bet is actually going to be Alex Pereira as well. Next fight of the night is one I love a ton. We have Drew Dober, -190, going up against Terence McKinney, +150. Over under set at 1.5 because it's a McKinney fight. Over 1.5, -130. Under 1.5, +100. Let's go ahead and start with Terence McKinney. Taking the fight on short notice, he is 12-3. Please take a look at his last few fights. His last like 5 fights. Jesus Christ. Rear naked choke, 2 minutes. Right cross, 7 seconds. Punches, 1 minute. Head kick, 17 seconds. Ref stoppage from strikes, 16 seconds. Those are his last 5 fights. Literally like 3 minutes of octagon time. It's insane. The dude is not there, as Michael Chandler would say, he's not here for a long time. He's here for a good time. And Jesus, he even loses spectacularly. Triangle choke in 50 seconds by Derek Minner. Sean Woodson flying knee in the second round, and then Tyrone Henderson doctor stoppage 40 seconds in. So honestly, he's just explosive. His striking is not that good. He's only 27. It's getting better, but it's not that good. But he hits hard, and he's very fast twitch, athletic as well, kind of like AJ Fletcher. But where he's really good is the ground game. He's sneaky good on the ground, and has a great wrestling base. This is a state champ in wrestling. I think Michael Chiesa was like his high school wrestling coach. Like the dude is very, very good wrestling and very, very good on the ground. Most of his wins are by submission. I know you're going to see these 7-second knockouts, but most of his wins are in fact by submission. He's very good on the ground. I can't say that, and he will have a 4-inch reach advantage here. His problem is we don't know how durable he is because he has 3 losses and he got finished in all 3. Secondly, his cardio. He finishes his fight so early, we don't know how the cardio is. We saw him in the second round 1 time and he got finished. So it's a little concerning, especially if he's not able to put Drew Dober away right away. Not generally someone you finish right away. He's generally pretty durable himself. He has great striking, by far the better striker here. Crap ton of power. You want to talk about Terence McKinney's power? So is Drew Dober, baby. This dude hits like a truck. Rocked Brad Riddell before losing. Alexander Hernandez took him out. Nazareth Akpress took him out. Polo Reyes took him out. The dude is a great striker, and he hits like a truck. The problem is his jiu-jitsu. He's been tapped out by Islam, tapped out by Benil, tapped out by Mercier. Like, yes. Like, basically, these guys are very, very good. However, if it hits the ground, he gets finished. So, I don't know. It really comes down to, can Terence McKinney take him down and just tap him out easily? Dober is a 55% takedown defense. That is not good enough. I think if McKinney gets this to the ground, he's in big trouble. So if you give me plus 150 on the better wrestler and better grappler, I'm going to take it. So the pick is going to be McKinney. The bet is going to be McKinney, one of my favorite dog plays of the night. All right, and then that takes us to one that we don't care about that we can fly through here. Straight pick them. Khalil Roundtree, Carl Roberson, both at -115. Over set at 2.5. Over 2.5 plus 120. Under 2.5 -150. Khalil Roundtree. You know what? We'll start with Carl Roberson. He has 4 losses, 4 by submission. He keeps going to the ground with the likes of Glover Teixeira, Marvin Vittori, Brendan Allen. All of these black belts are taking him down and tapping out pretty easily. He did Glory Kickboxing. He's a very, very good striker. But He's kind of low volume. I'm not a big fan of that. Wrestling a little suspect. Jiu-jitsu is not bad. Like he has some submission wins on his record too. Like he tapped out Darren Stewart. He tapped out Derek Brown. He tapped out Michael Wilcox. I don't know who those last two people are, but they're two submissions against a kickboxer. So for him, that's pretty good there. But all in all, his gas tank seems okay as well. It's just if he's on his back, he's in a little bit of an issue. Good news is Khalil Roundtree has multiple fights in the UFC and has never scored a takedown. Khalil's also pretty hittable. His striking is okay, and he has a shit ton of power. But I'll keep it honest with you. Khalil mentioned retirement. If someone mentions retirement, I can't bet them. So all in all, if you're telling me if Robertson is the better striker, better on the ground, why on earth would you? It would just a matter of Robertson getting caught with Khalil's power, and Robertson has never been knocked out. So the pick is going to be Robertson. The bet would end up being Robertson as well. All right, then next fight of the night, we have Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres at plus 200 going up against Sadiq Youssef at minus 250. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 160. Under 2.5 plus 105. Alex Caceres, he's good, man. Bruce Leroy is very underrated. He has a 2-inch reach advantage here. He has good striking. He's fought some of the best fighters and Uriah Faber and Sergio Pettis. The thing that gets me is his jiu-jitsu. It's very, very good. He's winning grappling competitions, tapping out other promotion champions. Like, he's very, very good on the ground. He has a black belt and no one gives him any credit because he doesn't wrestle. You'll never see it. He doesn't use it. But when he's on the ground, you're not going to tap out on the ground anymore. And if he gets on top of you, he's vicious on the ground when he gets your back. Even Sun Woo Choi fight, he tapped him out standing up and he had his back. But his bread and butter is the striking. Not a ton of power. He hasn't knocked anyone out since like 08. But he's very, very slick, man. He's just very hard to hit. And he'll clip you quite a bit. He has okay volume. He's sneaky good, in all honesty. But he's 33 years old. He's never going to be a title contender. He's just kind of a gatekeeper. And that's the role that Youssef is trying to avoid. He's the young up-and-comer trying to get a big name on his record. The problem with Sadiq is he has good pressure, good power, good volume, good striking, a lot of great things with Super Sadiq, but he's a little chinny. I know he's 11-2. He's not showing a ton of knockouts on his record, but Arnold Allen dropped him like 4 times in their fight. And his other loss, he got slammed and knocked out. So he is a little chinny. He's killer be killed as well. He hits like a truck, but if you hit him, he will go down. He just happens to pop back up. Gabriel Benitez popped him. Andre Feely popped him. Like, he goes down in almost all of his fights. He doesn't have to worry about that with Caceres, but he is predominantly a striker. And Caceres has been doing this a long time. And Caceres is a very, very good striker. So I think Sadiq is who the UFC wants to win. Sadiq definitely should be the favorite, but this line is off, man. Plus 200 on Bruce Leroy. All he's been doing these last 5 fights on this win streak is cash as a dog. And I think the ways continue. So the pick is going to be Caceres. You know, the pick is going to be Sadiq, but the bet is going to be Caceres. There's too much value there, plus 200 there. More routes to win is what I'm always going to take. All right, and then that takes us to our co-main. We have Marlon Morris at plus 205 going up against Song Yadong at minus 255. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 minus 135. Under 1.5 plus 105. All because of Marlon Morris. Marlon Morris has great jiu-jitsu. He has great striking, ton of power, 0 chin, is hittable. He gets hit more than he dishes out, and his 1 round of cardio. I know he's only 32, but or 33 now. In fight years, this dude is like 56. Like, the dude has declined. He has a shit ton of wear and tear on his body. I mean, he's had over 30 career fights. It's wearing on him. And all in all, if the UFC only had 1 round fights, he would be champion. But they don't. It's 3 rounds, and he can't go 3 rounds anymore. He just can't. So he has to come out and finish you. He looked good against Merab in the first round and then got finished by Merab. No one gets finished by Merab. He just ran out of steam. So if you have any sort of semblance of power or cardio, you will win. Song Yadong has both. He hits like a truck. He has very good striking. His wrestling's okay. He trains over at Team Alpha Male. He's one of the best Chinese prospects they have. His volume is pretty decent. And his wrestling is okay. In all honesty, I don't know what his ground game is like. In all honesty, but Kyler Phillips took him down a few times, and he was able to survive. So, all in all, I think Dong has proved me wrong multiple times. I chose Julio Arce, and I was wrong. I chose Casey Kenny, and I was wrong. He's good. In all honesty, so the pick is going to be Dong. I'm going to stop fading him and accept the fact that he's great. And he's only 24, so he's only getting better and better, and you're seeing it each time. So I'm not getting in the way of Song Yudong anymore. The pick is going to be Song Yudong. The bet is going to be Song Yudong. And that takes us to the main event here. We have Thiago Santos at plus 375 going up against Magomed Ankalaev at minus 520, and the line is growing. Well, over under set at 3.5. Over 3.5 is minus 115. Under 3.5 minus 115. Let's just start with Ankalaev because it's not going to take long. Russian sambo specialist, great striking, great power, great jiu-jitsu, or good jiu-jitsu. Okay, jiu-jitsu, great wrestling. So, I mean, all in all, the complete fighter. I know he has one loss, and you're going to hear them talk about how he tapped out with 1 second left to go against Paul Craig. Let's not forget that he dominated the other 14 minutes and 59 seconds of that fight. He dominated Paul Craig. He got caught. It's MMA shit's going to happen. You look at what he's done since: knockout win, decision win, knockout win, knockout win, knockout win, decision win, decision win. And he's fighting good fighters. I mean, Ian Cutelaba was good. Dolce sucks. Clifton Abreu is what he kind of flamed out. Nikita Krylov is okay, gatekeeper. Volkan, very good, and was able to destroy him. And he did it on the feet, which was very impressive. So you would think he would take down Volkan, who's predominantly a striker, but no, he stood on the feet, he banged, and he won pretty convincingly. He knocked him down a few times too. Santos is gonna want that. Santos is great striking and great power. One of the hardest power punchers we've ever seen in the UFC. The problem is the dude's like 38 years old. He's no spring chicken. He has 66% takedown defense, a former middleweight. I think technically he's a black belt on the ground, but we'll never see that. I think if Ankalaev wants to win easily, he just takes him down. Thiago Santos will always have a puncher's chance. He will always have that puncher's chance. But he's getting lower and lower volume the older and older he gets to conserve his cardio. And he slowed down in the Rakic fight. He slowed down in the Glover fight. He is winning some of these first rounds and then just gassing out. And he's coming off 2 ACLs were torn against John Jones 3 years ago. He has not looked the same since. That's a lot of injury for a 35-year-old to withstand. And now that he's 38 with bad knees and a weight class up, it's just not a good look. Ankalaev will be an anchor in a lot of parlays. But at least Santos will always have that puncher's chance. So it's an easy fade. So the pick is going to be Ankalaev. The bet's going to be Ankalaev. But if your parlays are still alive, make sure you throw a little on Santos, just the heads, just in case. He always has a puncher's chance. Otherwise, that's UFC Vegas 50, Ankalaev versus Santos. Again, give the video a like. Make sure you like us over on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We are on a heater. We're going to stay on a heater, and we're going to get paid, baby.